Good morning, or as we say in Hebrew, Boker Tov. My name's Guy. I'm 10 years old, and I live on a kibbutz in Israel. A kibbutz is a kind of small village where the people who live there share everything they have. There are no roads on my kibbutz. That's why we all get around on foot or by bicycle. Those who can't ride a bike go around on a canoe. It's a sort of motorized Israeli invention with a car battery. It's slow, but it does the job. It goes without saying that you don't need a license for it. My school's about 2 kilometers from the kibbutz, so all the kids get there by bike. It's a nice way to start the day. This is Mrs. Noah, my school principal. Like us pupils, all the teachers get to work by bike. Only they're allowed to park inside the school. But never mind. Today's the last day before we take off for the summer vacation. My kibbutz is on the Sea of Galilee. I've been boating ever since I can remember, and twice a week we even have sailing lessons in school. It's my favorite lesson of all. Today, we're going on a special trip to a museum across the lake. I'm going to row across in a plastic kayak. Some of my friends will get across in an Optimist. That's the smallest sailing boat there is. I wonder who'll get there first. Rowing a kayak not only takes strong arms, but you also need to have good coordination. Sailing is a very different skill. Here you have to use your body to get your sail into the best angle with the wind. Although it's called the Sea of Galilee, it's really only a small lake. It took us 1 hour to cross. Us kayaks arrived first. Well, I guess there wasn't too much wind today. Now, the reason we came to this museum is because my teacher wanted to show us that we weren't the first sailors to cross the Sea of Galilee. The ancient Galilee boat is one of the oldest boats in the world. It was preserved in the mud at the bottom of the lake. It's amazing to think it actually sailed the sea in the time of Jesus. Who knows, he may have even sailed in it. Okay, so the museum was cool. But to tell you the truth, I was thinking more about my summer vacation. My friends and me are planning to go on a big bicycle trip. There's only one problem: my bike. Because all the kibbutz families share everything, bicycles are passed down between kibbutz members. It's not so easy to get a new bike on a kibbutz. Not only is it small and slow, but my bike often gets a flat tire. I'm really worried that I won't be able to go on the big trip with my friends. Near my kibbutz, there's a big camel farm. In some parts of Israel, camels are still used as a means of transport. But around here, they usually carry tourists who come to visit the Sea of Galilee. The camel driver offers me a lift. But you know what? Even with a flat tire, I still prefer my bike. Farming is a way of life on my kibbutz, and that's why you'll find lots of agricultural vehicles everywhere you look. Small ones, like the grass cutter, all the way up to the crane truck that we use for trimming the leaves off the palm trees. Growing up on a kibbutz means that you know a lot about agriculture. It's the first day of my vacation, and I'm out with my dad on a tractor. There's nothing better than a tractor for getting about in the fields. The strong engine can pull the heaviest loads, and the big wheels move easily over the rough ground with no flat tires. My father is in charge of the kibbutz's banana plantation. He's very busy now because it's the picking season. I love being at work with my dad because I get to ride on all sorts of interesting vehicles. Today, he lets me sit on the forklift truck. It's designed to pick up really heavy loads. In fact, it can lift over a ton of bananas. And there they go. From here, the truck will carry our bananas to all parts of Israel. Guess what? Dad's going to take me to the big city tomorrow. He says he's got a surprise for me. We don't own a private car. Instead, we have lots of cars that belong to everybody on the kibbutz. Whenever we need to drive somewhere, we have to order one in advance. I know what I want. And we got it, the Storm Jeep. Three times a day, the kibbutz runs a taxi service between here and the town of Tiberias. I'm going there to pick up Danny, my cousin from Tel Aviv. We live in the north of Israel, far from the big cities. No train reaches here, so if you don't have a driving license, you'll have to take the public bus. Us kibbutz children are raised to be independent, and my parents are not afraid to let me travel alone. I've done this trip hundreds of times. Taking a bus is easily the most common way of getting around in Israel. There's only one big bus company, and it's owned by the government. You can see many soldiers on the buses. In fact, they can ride for free wherever they want. That looks like the bus from Tel Aviv. Danny! Danny, my cousin, is the same age as me, and every summer vacation, he comes to visit me on my kibbutz. Hey, maybe Danny can come with me on my big bicycle trip. That's if I go at all. Instead of waiting for the kibbutz taxi, we hopped on a bus that would take us straight home. Dad and I picked up the Storm Jeep, and soon we'll be on our way to the big city of Haifa. The Storm Jeep is the only vehicle made in Israel. Like any Jeep, it's great for driving on the roads as well as cross-country. Before leaving the kibbutz, we pull in to fill up the tank. My kibbutz has its very own gas station. That's why we never have to pay for it. It's fun when the gas station attendant is actually a friend. We always fill up with unleaded fuel. It's good for the environment. In Israel, we drive on the right. All the road signs are written in 3 languages: Hebrew, Arabic, and English. Another common way of getting around is hitchhiking. My dad always stops for soldiers. Too bad, she isn't going our way. As the Jeep gets nearer Haifa, the roads get wider and the traffic gets heavier. By now, I couldn't stop wondering what my surprise was all about. The traffic in big Israeli cities is very heavy, and it's hard to get around by car. Parking's difficult, and if you park in the wrong place, your car gets taken away. So we left our Jeep in a parking lot, and now we'll have to find different ways of moving around. My father has some business to do, so he's taking me to the Haifa cable car. The city's built on Mount Carmel, and he'll meet me in an hour from now at the upper end of town. By sending me on the cable car, he knows I've no chance of getting lost. Bye, Dad. There are only 5 cable cars in Israel. In Haifa, it's an important part of the city's transport system. I just love the shape. It feels like I'm sitting in a huge orange. Wow, what a view! Haifa is on the Mediterranean Sea. It has a huge port and also an important Air Force base. It's one of the few cities in Israel connected to the rail network. The railways in Israel cover only a small part of the country, which might explain why I've never traveled on a train in my life. Well, that was cool. Now, where's Dad? I haven't a clue where Dad's taking me, but we're going to get there on the Carmelite. The only underground railway in Israel, and probably the shortest underground railway in the world. Security checks are very important in Israel. My father explains to me that the Carmelite works in a unique way. Although there's a railway line, the train is pulled up the hill by a cable. In fact, you could say it's a bit like an elevator on rails. And here she comes. The Carmelite goes all the way up to the top of Mount Carmel. It's a very steep climb. The underground ride is very short. It takes only 7 minutes from the first station to the last. Dad said we were very close to the surprise now. The nearer we get there, the more curious I am. Could it be? Yes, a bicycle shop! I don't believe it! Finally, I'm getting a new bicycle. I don't think I've ever seen so many bicycles in my life, and I can pick any one I want. I just can't wait to get back to the kibbutz and show off to all my friends. My new bike. Well, one thing's for sure. On this bike, I'll never get left behind.